Hi, I'm Danny.
I'm Greg.
We built our own house, and today we wanted to talk about things that we would have done differently if we were to start again.
There are many.
There's 13. Coming in at number 13, we wouldn't have moved in until we had everything completed, not just after we got our CO.
I don't know what else we could have done. We needed more space and more room, and quickly, and our other little home is making some money for us. It is a regret, but I guess the only thing we could have done differently is build the house faster.
So when we had moved in, we had our CO, everything was good there. It was technically livable, but there is still a lot of little things that aren't finished. You can live without that and you just kind of get used to it, but I really wish that we would have increased our motivation by saying we will not move in until everything is done. We had a set of friends who did build their own home before us, which made us believe that we could do this. They took this philosophy and we thought that they were so silly because they had this finished home that they could have lived in, but no, they were right and we were wrong.
You probably cut that part out.
Jacob and Jessica, you can know that you were right.
Number 12, we did not budget for landscape. Turns out, I didn't know this, it's very expensive. Now our home is completed enough, however, the land surrounding our home, it doesn't look good. So the landscaping wasn't budgeted for, which means we couldn't afford it, and now we're stuck with this, not ugly, but it's definitely not what we want on the outside of our home.
If you have ideas, here's our constraints. Number 1, we don't have extra money to throw at it, so it has to be pretty inexpensive. Number 2, our area has a lot of drought. We live on a well, so when we're out of water, we're out of water. Number 3, I would like to have a garden, so if you know of crops that are like more drought resistant or that are especially good and help the soil a lot, that would be really helpful for us. Number 11, we didn't budget for high-end insulation, but we ended up using it.
When we talk about insulation, we're talking about the roof insulation. Usually blown-in insulation, it just happens from a gun. They blow in this loose insulation just on top of your drywall in your attic area, and it's fine. It's been what we've been doing for 100 years or more. Our walls are plenty insulated, but we needed to insulate our roof somehow. I made the call to do this very expensive closed-cell spray foam under the deck of the ceiling insulation. I'm so glad we did, by the way. Neither of us regret it. However, the budget was an issue after all.
Up until this point, we had saved enough money that we thought, oh, we can spring for this extra insulation, but you'll find out later in the video why that ended up not being true.
Number 10 on our list is the order in which we poured our concrete. I'm not gonna go into great detail, but just the long story short is what we should have done is built our walls up completely, filled them full of concrete, and then had the contractors come in and pour the floor. We ended up doing this weird leapfrog thing where we built our stem wall, kind of poured it, and then got the floor poured, and then poured the rest of the stem wall, and then put the rest of the wall. It ended up being just the wrong process to do this. If you don't know, make sure you have contractors who do know the right process of how to get these things done.
One of the things that did happen was when we poured our walls, some of it splashed onto our finished concrete floor. We were able to get most of it off, but there's still a little bit of spots somewhere all around our house. For number 9, this was a really big lesson. We miscalculated how much concrete we would need for our stem wall.
I miscalculated how much we needed for our stem wall.
Well, and I didn't calculate it at all. So
I ordered half the amount of concrete we needed. I feel so stupid. Concrete pump is here. The concrete truck just left. I got it wrong. I got it wrong by 1/2. I'm hiding in my shop here because I'm embarrassed. Fortunately, there just happened to be some trucks in the area that had quite a bit of extra concrete for some reason. We're thankful for that, and we just lucked out. We're blessed with that, but it was my first time ordering concrete, and it was for one of the most important parts of the most important building of my life. I'd have handed that off to a professional if I could do it again, and I will. Number 8. We ordered way too much dimple board for watershed on our stem wall. Yeah, I seem to have an issue with quantities and ordering, but Danny took care of it after that. I don't know, how'd you do that?
pretty easy. I called the company and told them to take it back.
Oh.
But we did have to get it prepared to ship back. We also had to pay for the shipping to return it, and we had to pay a restocking fee. In the end, we got some of that money back, but it did waste some of our money that we could have put towards other things, and it did take extra time.
Get your quantities correct. It ends up costing in the end.
Number 7, we hired an electrician who I would not hire again.
This is the reason that we lost all of the money that we thought we had saved up for on our insulation on the roof. and he didn't even finish the job. We have complaints against him. I'm sure he has complaints against us. That's just what happened, and we would not ever hire him again.
So at the end of the day, you can't really control other people's actions. What we should have done differently, and we will do going forward, is make sure we get everything in writing. We make sure we have a clear plan, and just that everything's written down so that we know that they understand what we want and we understand what they're going to provide, and there's no ambiguity there.
Get trustworthy subs. Number 6 is another ordering issue, not quantity this time, but timing wise. We ordered cabinets for the home, for the bathroom and the kitchen. I ordered them way too early, not realizing that Home Depot is really on their game. I think it was a week after I ordered them.
Just quick.
They all showed up. If you pile all the cabinets in your house into one pile, that's a large pile of stuff, and we had nowhere to put it. I put it outside in the middle of winter and covered it with very expensive heavy-duty winter tarps. For the most part, they stayed dry, but there were probably 5 cabinets that got so waterlogged and damaged that we actually had to send them to a friend of ours who's a cabinet maker. He just kind of had to repair them in his shop. The frustrating part is Home Depot totally would have just waited for delivery or when we told them we wanted them. If you're going to order your cabinets from a big box store, order them when you need them.
Number 5 is DIY plumbing. When we first started this house, we thought, oh, we're gonna do everything ourselves. We're gonna save so much money. This is gonna be a huge adventure. We're gonna learn so much. But when it comes to DIY plumbing, we weren't prepared. We didn't have that expertise. And it ended up just taking a lot of time that we didn't need to take. It cost us a lot of money in interest just because of how much time it took. If we were to do this again, I would have just hired someone sooner.
It is a regret doing the plumbing ourselves because, like you said, the interest and the cost and the time. However, I am in construction, that's my job. So whenever I go to a job from now on, I have this way better understanding of what the plumbers are going through, and I don't want to do it again. I don't feel like I'm a plumber, but it did help me in the long run, professionally speaking, to have this experience.
I'm an accountant. I never needed to do this.
The 4th regret we have is general room layout. Now, when you're looking at a floor plan, if you don't do it a lot, it's kind of hard to imagine what you're looking at in 2 dimensions on your table will feel like in 3 dimensions in a room or a house or a building.
One thing that we do have is we have a giant master closet and a giant bathroom. I probably would have moved the room line so the bedroom was a little bit bigger and those 2 are a little smaller.
Another one that bothers me is that our kitchen is huge. Wham wham, big kitchen, right? Well, it actually kind of is a problem because that makes our living room much smaller because our kitchen's just right over there and it's imposing into where the living room could be. And I'd rather have a larger living room than kitchen. Yeah, I'd revamp that to make the living area bigger and the kitchen smaller.
Number 3, not planning our subs up front. So when we were planning, we thought we're not gonna call and try and find an electrician if we're just now starting out because we're not gonna need them for several months and we're not gonna be able to book that and we can't give them like a good accurate time. So we'll just call them as soon as we need them. But just because you're free doesn't always mean that they're free.
Professionals get all their subs collected at one time and they have a good schedule laid out for it.
I think we've got a really good list of subcontractors now. So if we build again, we've got a good list of everyone except for a good electrician.
Number 2, and all of this one lands on me personally. When we started building the home, I didn't really believe in myself enough. I've never driven a tractor. That it kind of crippled me to where I would just take more breaks than I needed to. I just screwed myself on this. I didn't hustle along. I didn't just keep going. I didn't just take the next steps. I'd get overwhelmed and I'd go for a mountain bike ride, or I'd get confused about something and I'd go do something else, clean the shop or something. This is kind of an ethereal one that's kind of weird to talk about, but when you start a giant project, it is easy to get lost in the minutia and either lose confidence or be overconfident or something, and you tend to think like, I can afford a break here, or I need a break here, and I just should have stayed on the gun and made myself a schedule and not killed myself if I didn't stick to it, but I would have at least gotten this done a lot faster, more efficiently, and probably for a lot less money had I just kept going instead of kind of having these mini breakdowns.
I think something that probably would have helped is instead of saying, oh, we're building a house, we have one project. Maybe if we had said, we have a bunch of tiny projects and those projects need to all get done and they all have deadlines, maybe that would have helped.
If you struggle with that kind of thing, this will be for you. A lot of people out there have no idea what I'm talking about. They just are fine.
The number one thing that we would do different is we dug the first hole for our footer the day before the ground froze in December.
Which means that we were unable to do anything else. Because if the ground freezes, you can't compact it, you shouldn't build anything on it, you just have to wait for it to thaw, or thaw it yourself. And the whole footer was dug. Giant square hole in our land. It snowed and froze that night and did not unthaw for 3 months. We really should have either dug it much earlier or waited until after spring. Either one would have been better for us. We had to basically dig the whole thing again because it all froze and heaved and did some kinds of weird things. That's the one thing that just didn't work itself out. This one was very frustrating for me personally because I had taken work off. I had planned on not doing anything but building a home. And so for all winter, I just came out and stared at this frozen hole in my field that I couldn't do anything with. Technically, I could have spent a ton of our budget thawing the ground out, but then we would have lost all that money thawing the ground. It was a weird balance of money, time, weather. We just bit the bullet on that one, and that one sucked.
So these are our top 13 unlucky things that happened to us. We know better now what to do. And the most important thing is that for all of these things, they all work themselves out. It was frustrating, it was stressful. Sometimes it did cost us more time or more money, but they were all solvable.
If you're building your own home, try really hard to be smarter than we were in these areas, but also you are gonna hit some snags.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope that your project's going well. Happy building.
What?
You're doing good, babe.
I thought I was, but now I don't think I am.
No, you're doing. You're
You don't have, okay, the more you say.
so handsome.